Carolyn Dube here. What's the play for today? Today, I'm gel printing with an Oreo. Yes, you heard that correctly, an Oreo. And in the process of doing this, there were a few things that I learned about using an Oreo to print with. And yes, if you can read between the lines there, definitely an oops happened. So, what were the pitfalls of gel printing with an Oreo and what kind of prints did it create? Well, come check it out. The first thing to do is prepare your gel press plate. Put a thin layer of color on there. And if you've seen my videos, you know putting a small amount on there is something that I have to think about. Then grab your printing tool, the Oreo, and just take one of the cookies and push down. And voila, you have the pattern of an Oreo. However, these are cookies, so if you don't know your own strength, you are going to crack them. Now, don't hold this against Oreos. This definitely is an off-label use for Oreo cookies. This just has to do with the fact that cookies are fragile. And by the way, it may not have been exactly what I planned, but it's a great oops, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. Because when you've got those broken bits, you now have different shapes of pattern to put on here. And now I must add the warning to this video, and that is, once you put paint on your Oreos, they are no longer safe to eat. But I have a feeling you could have figured that out. So once I've got pattern all over that color, it is time to bring in a piece of paper to take the pull. And I'm using just an index card here, a cheap, flimsy index card from I don't know what office supply store. Well, as soon as I saw this print, I absolutely loved it and I wanted to do a whole bunch more of these. But here's the thing. The cookies are going to keep breaking. And I thought there has to be a way to do this without breaking cookies. I just have to find the right technique, the right way to do this. So I started another one. Put a layer of that Amsterdam paint on there, that wonderful color, and I began again. But this time I was pushing with my whole hand there. Notice how I was trying to give it even pressure everywhere? Because I figured it was the uneven pressure that was the problem. That's why it was cracking. So of course, I'm doing this very carefully, using that even pressure, using those 3 fingers to push down, and I felt it crack on that last one. There is a fault line running through that cookie so that I know that when I pick it up, it is going to be in several pieces. So yep, that's how the cookie crumbles. But now I've got even more little broken bits and shapes to use to go around the whole cookies that I still have. And never fear, I've got another idea for what I want to try to keep those cookies from cracking. Now, this one though, lots of pattern all over that blue, so I'm going to take that pull. Oh, and by the way, with the Oreos, yes, mine have a chocolate filling that are here that you can see, but guess what? You can use this technique with any Oreo that has a pattern on it that you like. The filling part doesn't matter because that's not going to get used. Well, that's not exactly true. Just the flavor of it doesn't matter. You see, now I want to try using the cookie with the filling still on it to see if that somehow gives the cookie extra strength. Somehow the cookie will be stronger if it's got the filling on it. And it actually was a little bit stronger because as I'm doing this, I'm actually holding the cookie around the rim or the edges, and it didn't crack as quickly for me there. But I still haven't gotten control of that strength that I have, and my little pieces of cookie, yep, they're crumbling all over the place. Oh, and if you're wondering if this leads to getting, say, some crumbs in your prints, yeah, sometimes there is a little extra texture from it. These prints look like a couple of things to me. They kind of look like a pattern on, say, a bandana. They also have sort of that boho kind of vibe to me. And then they look like manhole covers. That's the other thing that they look like to me. What about you? Let me know in the comments what that pattern looks like to you. Up until now, I've been using only part of this 6x6 gel press plate. But guess what? You can use the whole thing. And that is one of the things that I love about gel printing. There are so many ways to do it that everybody can do it in the way that they want to. So many possibilities and options. Now, if you're just getting started with gel printing and you're wondering, how do you deal with all those possibilities? How do you think about these things? How do you decide what to do? Yep, just broke another cookie there. Then I have got an entire page of resources for you. So you can find all that over on my website at acolorfuljourney.com. And if you're ready to dive deep to really understand why the plate does what it does, and then how to use that information to guide and steer it so that you can get prints that you love consistently, then check out my workshops. For this print, I'm going to create Oreo Grunge, and I'm going to be using 2 colors to do it. So this blue that I've got going here, this is going to be the first layer, and then I'm going to bring a second color on top of it. But first, I want to get pattern on every spot of that blue paint. This is where those little broken cookies are just so handy to squeeze in any of those little areas. But once I've got pattern over the entire thing, then it's time to take the pull. Now the paper that I'm using here for this print, this is not going to completely cover the plate, and that was intentional. So I'm going to get a print here, and I'm going to lift a lot of that paint off of the middle, and yep, get the print, but then there's paint left on the plate. So I had to go and find the paint that I wanted. I couldn't find the color, but yes, I'd squirreled it under something, and I found it here. So we've got this wonderful bright green here to put on top of it, brayering all around it. And this time when I take the print, I'm going to take a piece of paper that's going to cover the entire plate. So where did I get paper that was just a little bit bigger than a 6-inch gel plate? I simply cut down a bigger piece of cardstock to that size. I just hand cut it with scissors, so that's why one of the edges looks a little wonky. And the Oreo factor on this print is a little more hidden and buried within the grunge, but since you've seen how this is made, you know that was Oreos that made that happen. But let's try it in a completely different color. I'm bringing in some magenta here, and there's something amazing to me on this plate right now. And that is what a thin layer of paint I've done. This is something that I have to think really consciously about to do a really light layer of it. My husband is usually very supportive of any of the creative ideas I have, anything that I want to try. But in this case, it took him a little while to warm up to the idea. You see, he's a big fan of Oreos, and especially ones with chocolate filling. So he thought this was, well, maybe not the best use of Oreos since once they have paint on them, nobody can eat them. But I pointed out to him that, hey, when you're doing this, you just need a handful of them, and even if they break, you can keep on printing and playing with them. And then he did suggest that I should compare different flavors of Oreos to see how that makes a difference with it. And would it surprise you that every flavor that he listed was one that he really liked? I think we know what his motivation is. I also suggested to him that, hey, if he wants to try that out, he should grab a plate and give it a try himself. And I bet if enough people leave a comment saying that, yes, they want Dave to gel print with Oreos, I'll bet I can use that to talk him into joining me for a video so you guys can see what it looks like when he's gel printing with Oreos. Now, there is something that I haven't shown you in this video, and that is when I tried using an entire complete Oreo, top and bottom cookie, filling in there. Those cracked for me very, very quickly. I found that I needed to separate them to prevent cracking. So was it better with the filling on it or without the filling on it? Well, they both cracked for me, and by the end of this video, every single cookie here will be cracked. But the one advantage to having that filling on there is that it did kind of help hold that cookie together. So even after a cookie had a crack in it, if there was that filling on top, that was kind of just sort of loosely holding it in place so I could still get round-looking impressions with it. And of course, I'm not bothered if they break because you get some great pattern even with those broken cookies. Now earlier in the video, you saw how I added a second color right onto the gel plate. Well, there's another way that you can bring more color onto a gel print is you can add color after you've taken the print. So all I'm going to do is grab a color that I want to put around this, a paintbrush, and then simply loosely put that color all around it. Now you might be wondering, once you've made a gel print, what do you do with it? Well, my answer is, what do you like to do? If you're an art journaler, use it in your art journal. If you like to make collages, use it in a collage. If you're a card maker, use them to make a card. Whatever it is you enjoy creating, you can use your gel prints in that. And of course, you can use any colors that you love. You can do this to some of your prints, all of your prints. You have the freedom to do it however you want to. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you've been enjoying this video, I'd so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And of course, if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I've got a new one out. And thank you for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.